AEW is causing major issues for the WWE. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? TonyPizzaGuy here, back again with The Slam, your WWE news and rumors and pro wrestling news and rumors section for you over here on YouTube. If you guys aren't already subscribed to the channel and you're finding this somehow, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you do enjoy this type of content, make sure you hit that like button and let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. So we have a lot to talk about today. There was an AEW invasion. We also need to talk about Chris Jericho, and we also want to talk about WWE and the headaches that All Elite Wrestling is causing for them. So if you're not familiar, last night at Bar Wrestling, AEW invaded. Now this is a major thing because AEW is not a promotion yet, so them going to Bar Wrestling and showing up at unannounced at an indie promotion is pretty cool. Now, if you don't know what bar wrestling is, it is wrestling in a bar, which is pretty cool. So there's alcohol for all the fans and wrestlers come and have a good time. It's similar to the old vibes of PWG when they had that smaller arena and it was more fans just packed into one place having a good time. That's kind of what bar wrestling is. This is ran by Joey Ryan. It's his promotion, and it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing. So last night at Bar Wrestling, we got to see some interesting action. There was sort of an invasion coming out here with Hangman Adam Page coming out, and him and Joey Ryan did a double dick flip, which, you know, the thing that he does. I don't know how to explain it. That's what he does. You guys know what it is. After that, we saw Cody and Brandy come out. They made an appearance. Then the Young Bucks came out, and then SoCal Uncensored kind of got their win, and then everybody stood tall at the end, and it was a very cool picture at the end of everybody standing tall after the All Elite Wrestling invasion of sorts. And this is pretty interesting because it was kind of off the script, but this is just like Joey Ryan's promotion, so they can do what they want really, and have them come in and do their thing is pretty cool. I think now more than ever we can agree that Joey Ryan is probably a part of All Elite Wrestling. Like, we probably thought that was going to be the case, but now it's for sure that Joey Ryan's part of All Elite Wrestling, so that's pretty cool. And we'll see. Maybe they'll do some more stuff on other independent promotions. Maybe they'll go over to other places and do things like this, because I think this crossover stuff will help build their brand while they're trying to come up in the world, All Elite Wrestling, and then it'll help put these other brands on the map by having that rub from All Elite Wrestling, Cody, Bucks, Elite, Hangman Page, SoCal Uncensored, all of them. So I think that's really interesting. I think it's very cool that they went there, they did this thing, and now they're getting some publicity out of it. I did see some like pitter patter on YouTube video because Joey Ryan actually has the full clip on the his YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description if you guys want to watch it. But I did see a comment that said, "Oh, if this is how this was overkill, if this is how All Elite Wrestling is going to be, I'm going to pass." Hold up, pump the brakes. This was just a one-time publicity thing to get their name out there and get people talking. This is not how All Elite Wrestling is going to be booked. It's just one thing to get their name out there. That's how it is. So that's that. So I wanted to come back and hit on All Elite Wrestling and the WWE superstars that are looking to get out of WWE to go to All Elite Wrestling. Now, we talked about it yesterday, and the Revival may be one of those teams that are trying to get out of WWE. Also reported, that I didn't actually report on, but it was reported, is that Mike and Maria Kanellis are looking to leave the WWE. And they have a different story here because they say that they could possibly want to go to Ring of Honor, or they could go to All Elite Wrestling. It's undecided at this current point. What's very interesting about this is that they just feel underutilized in the WWE, as did the Revival, and they want to take their talents elsewhere. Coming out of all of this, there are going to be more names that are going to be leaving or wanting to leave the WWE, I should say. But here's something interesting. If you guys aren't familiar, there's a Twitter account called Slice Wrestling. This is where they post a lot of pro wrestling news and rumors and stuff, and they talk about a bunch of cool stuff, and they're pretty legit source, so I wanted to talk about this. But they came out and said that WWE talents that have come out and upcoming names that want to leave the WWE, that are requesting their release, will not be granted by Vince McMahon. Instead, any WWE talents looking to leave will have their contracts frozen for the duration of the time to prevent signing with AEW. And that's pretty interesting when you think about it, because WWE is not afraid of All Elite Wrestling, but they aren't letting their talents leave the WWE if they're requesting their release, because they know they'll go to All Elite Wrestling. This is business 101. If anybody thinks that WWE is scared of All Elite Wrestling, I think they have an eye on All Elite Wrestling. I don't think they're scared, though. As Chris Jericho has said in the past, he said WWE is going to keep going on. They're WWE. That's what WWE does. They'll keep going. They'll keep going. And I say that. WWE is going to keep going. WrestleMania is here. It's going to keep going. Whether All Elite Wrestling is there or not, that's what's happening. So what's going down here is that Vince McMahon had these guys sign contracts. You sign a contract saying, I'm going to work for the WWE for this many years. WWE has an option in their contract that if they want to fire you, they can. However, you cannot quit the company and they don't have to grant your release. That's the way business works in the WWE. You sign that dotted line, and that's the risk you take working with the WWE. But I think a lot of people want to get to the WWE and get to that level and say, yo, I could be a top guy, I could be whatever, I could be a huge superstar. And then when it doesn't work out, they want to leave. Well, Vince doesn't have to do that. We saw it with Neville, as I talked about it, where they didn't grant him release from his contract, and he kind of just sat on the sideline. That's what's going to happen to these guys. The Revival, Mike and Maria, if they're not going to play the WWE game and they want to leave, they're just going to sit on the side. They're just going to sit back and wait. We know that the Revival kind of has a relationship with the Young Bucks, so I think All Elite would be eminent for them. Mike and Maria, not so sure. Maybe Ring of Honor. They were already there before. Or All Elite Wrestling. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting time. It really is. So more about All Elite Wrestling. I want to talk about Chris Jericho and some interesting things that came out. So Chris Jericho has a podcast. We all know it. Talk is Jericho. We talked about some interesting things in the past, from All Elite Wrestling to All In to WWE. And he actually went on record and said, you know what? When I was going to go to All In, they wanted me to do a match, but it just wasn't going to work out. What actually happened was I talked to the Khan family, who now we know that the Khan family are the guys running All Elite Wrestling, and they wanted to start a promotion, and I gave them some sort of advice. I told them what I think they should do, and they actually helped fly me into All In, which is pretty interesting that they flew Chris Jericho into All In, and they helped him get in and get to his Fozzy concert and do all that, which is very amazing of the Khan family, and that helped build that relationship with Jericho. I think that's one of the reasons why Jericho ended up signing with All Elite Wrestling, was because the Khan family and just his relationship with them. And then he said that he also did have offers from Impact Wrestling, and he was actually thinking about going to Impact Wrestling because he wanted to have matches with guys like Sami Callihan, and he really wanted to have a match with Rich Swann, and I think that would have been pretty cool. But he said that Don Callis and Scott D'Amore were awesome. He loved them. He would love to work for them. However, All Elite Wrestling just offered more money, and at the current time, he wants to do something different in his career. He said that WWE, like I said, is going to be WWE forever. They're going to keep doing their WWE thing. But right now, he wants to take a risk. He's at like the highest point of his career he feels right now. He's got the highest stock on him right now. All eyes are on Chris Jericho. So he could use that to help build All Elite Wrestling and get a sweet paycheck out of it. And I think that's pretty smart on him. So at least for 3 years, Chris Jericho will be All Elite Wrestling. Will he go back to WWE? We'll have to wait and see if that actually does happen. I don't know. But he also did come out and say that he was not surprised that WWE moved him to alumni. He said, I am WWE alumni. I'm not on SmackDown anymore, so why would I be on the SmackDown page? So put me on alumni, that's fine. And as it pertains to the WWE intro where they replaced Jericho with Cesaro, he said, that's not a shocker to me. I'd be shocked if I still was on the intro because I'm not a WWE superstar. He said that's the reason why he didn't go to Saudi Arabia to wrestle Rusev, and why they put The Undertaker in there instead was because, you know what? He's not a part of the WWE anymore. He was doing stuff with New Japan Pro Wrestling at the time. And that's pretty interesting. So we'll have to see as everything comes out when it goes to All Elite Wrestling. But these guys that are trying to leave, this talent that wants to leave, are not going to be able to leave. Their contracts are going to be frozen from WWE, and they're not going to be able to get out. And that's very interesting stuff. So they're going to sit on the sidelines, collect a paycheck, and maybe when that's done, they can go to All Elite Wrestling. But we'll have to see. We'll see if there's more names and a mass exodus coming here in the WWE. I don't know. That's where we're going to wrap today's video up. If you guys do enjoy this, make sure you guys smash that like button and let me know in the comment section below what you think of everything, what you think of the invasion, what you think of All Elite Wrestling in WWE, what you think of Chris Jericho's comments, and what you think of the future of All Elite Wrestling is going to be. Again, guys, like I said, if you're new here, subscribe. If you like this, hit that like, comment. If you want me to know your thoughts, we'll be back with more as we talk about everything All Elite Wrestling and pro wrestling news. Right now, All Elite Wrestling is going to get even more interesting with Kenny Omega's contract coming up in the Royal Rumble right around the corner. We'll see if Kenny Omega goes in the Rumble or if he's going to be one of those guys that's going to go to All Elite Wrestling. I don't know. It's a weird time, but we're going to find out. But that's going to end it today. As always, I'm TonyPizzaGuy, and we will see you in another episode of The Slam.